We just learned the brutal truth about the Fabian Zetterlund trade, and a specific San Jose Sharks spoke out about their thoughts. We have to dive into this rough situation, but we also have to talk about a move the Sharks made, recalling a defenseman once again from the San Jose Barracuda, who we've just recently seen, and a little sneak preview into the new lines here coming up for the next game. All that coming up on this episode of Sharks Digest. But first, I want to thank today's sponsor, HotTakes. We are pumped to be launching a March Madness bracket for the channel. We've partnered with the HotTakes app and other Digest Media channels for this event. It's completely free to sign up. Just download the HotTakes app, click the March Madness banner at the top, and under Groups, select Digest Media Pool. This is super exciting, as there's over $25,000 in prizes to be won. And since there's a much smaller pool than normal bracket challenges, there's a real chance you can win big. So check out the link below or scan the QR code to download the app, and make sure you use the code DIGEST, all caps DIGEST, when you sign up. You'll get exclusive perks when you join if you do that, guys. This is amazing. The main event round starts on March 16th, so get in quickly. Get in now. If you have any trouble, any questions about signing up, email us. The email will be left down below. Thank you to HotTakes for partnering with us on this amazing competition. But just a reminder, guys, we passed 1,000 subscribers, but we're aiming for 1,500, and we're really not that far away. And since well over 60% of you watching haven't hit the button yet, if you did right now, it's completely free. It helped us out, and it helped you out find all the latest San Jose Sharks content. Let's dive right into the video, and I want to start with the lines now. Sheng Peng, fantastic follow. Again, on Twitter, you need anything Sharks related, Sheng Peng is a great follow. San Jose Sharks lines of practice. No Toffoli. Game time decision, it seems like right now, but here were the lines that they were running. Gregor seems to be the placeholder for Toffoli on the top line. Not exactly sure where Gregor's going to slot in on these lines, but for now, probably going to be Eklund, Wenberg, Toffoli. It might look like we get Klim Kostin, Macklin Celebrini, Will Smith, Kovalenko, Dellandrea, and Graf. But I want to point out the defense as well. As we got Ferraro. By the way, happy Mario Day, March 10th. Happy Mario Day to Mario Ferraro, our #1 defenseman, playing with Shakir once again. So the defense isn't super changed up. Of course, we got Vlasic, which is always nice to have him around. I don't know. I like seeing him in the lineup, at least with Liljegren. And then we got Jimmy Schultz. Now, Schultz is the little move that San Jose did make. Now, we have seen him already this season. He had 3 shots on goal in his other game this season. I believe it was against the Avalanche. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, we got Jimmy Schultz back from the San Jose Barracuda, and honestly, I'm kind of happy. Now, they do have an extra defenseman, which they didn't have last game, and it seems like Jimmy Schultz is going to be paired with Vincent Desharnais. Look, excited to see how this goes. I'm actually really excited to see how Vincent Desharnais pans out for the Sharks for the rest of the season. I think it's actually an interesting spot for him to be, because he's very big and he's just kind of like not great at a whole lot of things. But I think right now with this Sharks team, give him some chances to do some interesting things. Let him have a bit of freedom. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be high on Vincent Desharnais, but I think it's interesting. But looking at these lines, I just wanted to point it out because it does feel like something sorely missing, doesn't it? I mean, to see that top line, look, Eklund, Wenberg, and probably Tyler Toffoli, Celebrini and Smith staying together, but the winger next to them is probably going to go up and down throughout the rest of the season. Wouldn't shock me to see even Kovalenko move up to that top 6. I don't think Noah Gregor will get that spot, but you never really know. There's some options. See Barkley, Goodrow on the wing on the 4th line. There's some interesting stuff that could go down the rest of this way. We might see Goodrow at center. We might see Will Smith at center. There's a lot of choices here, but I just wanted to highlight Jimmy Schultz being back. I'm probably getting some game time in the next game. I don't know. I like Jimmy Schultz. I think it's cool, right? Good story, Jimmy Schultz. I think coming out of St. Cloud State, kind of being an AHL guy forever, hadn't played in the game in years and years, and the Sharks were giving him a chance, right? That's what this team's about right now. Bottom of the standings, I know. We're waiting to see the young guys get better, giving certain guys a chance that maybe wouldn't get a chance on other teams. So, look, trying to make the most out of what we got here right now, right? So I'm happy with it, but let me know your thoughts on this lineup down below. I know there's going to be some question marks. I know there's going to be some who's going to play with who for the rest of the way, but it is going to be interesting to watch, and just hopefully we can get some guys like that. Man, that Will Smith Macklin Celebrini pairing seems to be amazing, and I hope that continues the rest of the way. But we got to dive into the Zetterlund trade, and there were some quotes that came out that honestly just made me sad. It's the brutal truth to the NHL, and when you get moved from team to team, I mean, even from the Senators side, not even in this Zetterlund trade. Now, we do have Ostapchu. He's been skating. We see Gregor there in the lines. We have that, but, Ottawa's other trade, when they traded Josh Norris away, he looked sad arriving to Buffalo's first game, and Brady Tkachuk, their captain, was crying when they lost him. We have some quotes here. Eklund says, feels for him. San Jose Sharks traded a literal family member in Zetterlund. They were at the sauna together, found out about the trade together, has chatted with Grier about it, keeping that to himself. very interesting. So maybe he wasn't happy with it. It sure seems like it at this point. There's some strange stuff going on here. Anything can happen, Eklund says in his lesson. That's his lesson from this deadline. Look, Fabian Zetterlund, I know a lot of us are shocked at this deal. I mean, the +8 on the team speaks volumes. 64 games, played the full season for San Jose. By far the best plus-minus on the team. One of only 2 people to be a positive plus-minus. And he had by far the most ice time of the people who were in the positive. 17 goals, 19 assists for 36 points. I'm not going to go into why this trade was confusing. I think we've talked about that enough. But I just wanted to highlight again how important a piece Zetterlund seemed to be to this team when they did succeed this season. How important Zetterlund was to that. But clearly how important he was to the family. A guy like William Eklund, like, man, this sucks, right? I know it's the nature of the NHL, but especially for a young team, they're going to go through this multiple times throughout their career, whether it's their friends or essentially family members in this case, not literally, but of course, essentially, I mean, Lund, close enough. No, that's not true. But, you know, like, you're going to have some heartbreak seeing yourself or your friends depart from an organization. And learning it when you're young, maybe that's the best time to do it, but it does suck anyway. We have some more quotes here from Curtis Pashelka. Eklund said Friday was one of the toughest days of his life. Eklund on Zetterlund, that's one of the toughest days. He's family for me. His family is my family. So this is one of these things that raises questions for me going forward, and not questions about the team or about management. While, you know, a lot of us still very much question that trade, the fact is now, like, that does hurt chemistry, at least in the short term, right? It's going to be harder to accept guys like, well, maybe not Gregor because he's friends with people on the team, right? Like, that's fine. I think him and Ferraro are like best buddies, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So there's that. But Ostapchuk, you know, how could you be William Eklund and just see your buddy, your family, Zetterlund, go and bring in Ostapchuk and just kind of say, okay, this is the new guy who's replacing him, right? It's hard. And so I'm not saying they're not going to get over it, but this is one of these tough things, but it's an important lesson, I think, for a young team like San Jose, because you have to imagine a lot of these guys' friends, family are going to be moved at some point throughout their careers. But the final thing, the nail in the coffin for me, that kind of hurt me to see, if I'm being honest. Travis Green had a media availability today, and we had Zetterlund on the 4th line at their skate. And he said, quote, "I liked the way the rest of our lines looked the other night. Just made sense to put him there tonight and get his feet wet." And on the one hand, I get it, right? It's a new face to the organization coming in from the bottom feeder Sharks. I know it sucks, but it is what it is right now for the San Jose Sharks. But to have him on the 4th line, again, just a reminder that on one of the lowest producing teams in the league, the worst team in the league statistically, well, points-wise, Zetterlund was a +8. He contributed 36 points. Yes, he was not perfect all the time. He's not a perfect player. He was very inconsistent. He had some streakiness, right? But when he was on, and he was phenomenal. And to see him go and play 4th line for Ottawa, I think just hurts me a little more. But again, like, this is just the brutal truth about the NHL. I mean, I've said it once, I'll say it again. You look at these lines, you feel like he's missed. You ask the players, they feel like he's missed. Again, this stuff kind of does happen, but you do have to wonder, like, especially after this trade, how are the players feeling with management? Again, we have Eklund talking to Grier, and I suspect nothing is wrong. I suspect it's professional and they were all fine. I am not calling into question at all that the players are going to be upset with management. Let me just be clear. That is absolutely not what I'm doing. What I am saying is this is going to be tough for a lot of these Sharks boys to go through right now. And even though it's a bad team, I wouldn't expect to see some more losses now in the next couple games as they get used to this new roster, used to some of their friends and family leaving, used to the new guys coming into the team. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts, though. And I really think they will bounce back from this. But again, like, to hear these kind of quotes is honestly just heartbreaking for me. So let me know your thoughts on these recent quotes from Eklund specifically down below. And what do you think him and Mike Grier talked about? I'm sure Mike Grier said, listen, it's just a hockey trade. This is just what happens in the NHL. And I'm sure Eklund knows that. But again, these guys are young. It is what it is sometimes, but hey, that'll do it for this episode of Sharks Digest. If you enjoyed, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It's completely free. We got all the latest Sharks news, rumors, reports, game reactions, all that great stuff. This is your home for it. I've been your host, Josh Gosse, and I'll catch you on the next one.